Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. It's been a long day. Think back to a park or an open space that you loved when you were younger. Who were you with? And how did you feel? Could you smell cut grass or hear birds? Let that feeling soak into your senses for a moment. And now open your eyes. That feeling, your memory, has power. And the possibility that it represents has power. Each of us share that capacity and potential energy. I know this because over the last few years, with a backdrop of arguably extreme societal division, our community rallied that energy and created a 4.5-acre public space premised on a basic concept that everyone belongs. We did it, despite everything, and I'm here to share our story. For me, it started in the spring of 2011. You may remember it was the midst of the Great Recession, and I woke up one morning to learn that it had struck again, this time close to home, right down the street, killing a planned park in our neighborhood. To be clear, in our unincorporated community of Live Oak, there was no other walkable park. As a working person with 2 kids under 5, I had awaited that park like only a sleep-deprived parent can. And without even realizing, I had projected a vast array of possible futures onto this blank canvas of an empty space. The loss was the loss of those dreams. And I felt anger because yet again, this little unincorporated community seemed to be getting the raw end. And I felt very sad and despondent because it was so much bigger than us. What could I possibly do? Well, started talking to friends and neighbors, and I quickly learned that each of us was mourning a slightly different dream, as different as each of us. We connected around the loss, but really we found each other. We found a shared purpose, and that is the power of public space. It is where we can connect different dreams. And so we took the first step. We worked with the county, and the county said yes. They helped us take down the fences. They helped open up the space for public access, and it felt really good to pick up a shovel and get something done. It didn't feel like a choice to me. I felt like I needed my kids to see that we weren't just going to give up. And there were a lot of other people who seemed to have that same need. Yolanda Provost de Fuentes. I would like to be her when I am grown up. Yolanda didn't have a choice and didn't wait around. You see, for families without cars in our neighborhood, there was no other walkable park. And so for 6 years, every week, Yolanda invited families to gather out in this empty field under the beautiful old live oak tree to raise kids and share food and process life together. The families of El Patio de Mi Casa group had to walk multiple blocks to use bathroom facilities, yet families showed up every single week because this space is what we needed to create shared life. Bureaucracy and funding paled in comparison to what you could see growing out there every week. And it didn't hurt for our little team that Yolanda's answer to adversity is to share food and laughter and, if needed, tears. Trisha Potts. Trisha and her family showed up from 15 miles away in Watsonville. They also didn't have a choice. You see, they have 3 children, one of whom uses a wheelchair. And they just dreamed of a place where all 3 of their kids could play together. That was not yet an option in our county. You see, when Oliver went to a playground in his wheelchair, he would get stuck, even a playground that was designed to ADA specs, at the edge of the wood chips. He couldn't come out and gather with us under the old live oak tree because he couldn't get there. Bureaucracy and funding paled in comparison to what the Potts family had been through in surgeries and hospital stays. And it did not hurt our team that Trisha Potts' answer to adversity is to double down and bring a wicked sense of humor. So many people showed up. So many people needed this place. First there were dozens, and then there were hundreds, and by the end, there were thousands of people who made this place happen. And so we took the next step. We held community input sessions. More than 200 local school kids submitted playground designs. Right? Pretty cool. We finalized the landscape architecture, and we figured out how to partner with the county. Now, everything was in place. We had everything we needed. We just needed the money. But remember, the El Patio kids, our kids, were watching, and at this point, they were leading the way. And so in the summer of 2016, with the wind at our back, we launched a capital campaign. Now, 2016 was an interesting time in our country, and as we went into the fall of 2016, it seemed that the tone and the tenor of everything was more and more divisive and polarized and tense. From every angle, it seemed bright lights were shining only on our divisions, not on our similarities. And I was really nervous. I was really scared for our project because, you see, our coalition was made up of people from every political persuasion, every socioeconomic group, every geographic region of this county. Would we be pulled apart by these perceived differences, or could we maintain a unity and a shared purpose? And so, as part of an answer, I'm going to ask you all to think back to where we started, to that memory of yours in a park, and how it made you feel. Because that proved far more powerful than our fears. Our community seemed to need a place to put energy and put hopes, and so we moved forward. Kids sold cookies. El Patio sold tamales. Every service group and club and organization you can possibly imagine held some kind of fundraiser or three. We had foundations step up, we had companies step up, we got state and federal grants. Philanthropists of every political stripe stepped forward to support a place based on the premise that everyone belongs. We did it. Between 2016 and 2018, our community raised $2 million in private capital. That was matched with $2 million more in voter-approved public investment. It was the largest gift ever given by a group of citizens to the county of Santa Cruz. Chanticleer Park is 4.5 acres with community gardens, off-leash dog areas, a bike pump track, lots and lots of places to gather under trees, and in the heart is Leo's Haven Inclusive Playground, designed beyond ADA requirements to be an outdoor classroom and an ongoing catalyst for inclusion. In a time of so much strife, I find myself strangely hopeful. We have differences, and we get divided. Fear does that. But that is not new to human nature, and that is not the whole story. Our kids are watching and growing, and they need us to clear pathways to build shared futures. To quote the poet Rumi, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. I know you can imagine that. Thank you.